first president, Kwame Nkrumah, said the independence of Africa is meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of the entire African continent. It is incumbent on each and every one of us to be mindful of the state of affairs in each and every African countries. If you can do nothing at all, at least be aware of what is going on so you know where and when to throw your support. I'm about to break down the conflict in Sudan as to how it started and what is going on currently. So give me a few moments of your time as I take you down memory lane till now. The conflict of Sudan has deep historical roots shaped by colonial divisions, inequalities internally, and foreign interference. During the British-Egyptian rule, it was split between the Arab-Muslim North and the African-Christian South, creating long-lasting political and cultural division. After their independence in 1956, the colonial masters deliberately settled power in the hands of the Arab North, leading to Southern rebellion and the First Civil War. Though a peaceful agreement in 1972 granted autonomy to the South, it collapsed decades later after Omar al-Bashir imposed Islamic State nationwide, sparking another devastating civil war that ended in 2025. However, peace never truly came. The Darfur conflict in the early 2000s exposed deep ethnic and economic inequalities. The Darfur conflict was started by two non-Arab rebel groups who picked up arms against the government for what they believed to be marginalization against the non-Arab Africans, which started in the western province of Sudan. The Sudanese government under Omar al-Bashir launched a brutal counter-insurgency campaign using Janjaweed, an Arab militia group. The Janjaweed group, deployed by the government, carried out widespread mass killing, rapes, village burning, targeting non-Arab ethnic groups. The conflict led to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. By the year 2008, it was estimated that over 300,000 people has been unalived and 2.5 million people displaced. And I remember during the early 2000s, when President John Ajikun Kufuor was the president, we received refugees from Sudan during the Darfur conflict. Some of these refugees lodged in Usher Town. Anyone who grew up around Jamestown in the 2000s to 2005 can testify to this. At that time, I was a kid growing up in Jamestown, and these refugees were camped in the Usher Fort, where we usually go in and out of there as kids and play around. So after this Darfur conflict, talks and international organizations came in, the African Union and what have you, also put their mouth in it. So after a back and forth and then refugee status here and there, finally in 2011, South Sudan gained independence from the north. So they became two separate countries. That is, Sudan represents the northern part, where South Sudan represents the non-Arab Christian side. Even though South Sudan have pockets of issues here and there, the conflict as it's happening right now is happening in the northern part of Sudan, which is Sudan. So remember, when the division occurred, we had South Sudan and Sudan, which represent the northern part. So the conflict right now is in Sudan, which is the northern part. I know you are asking now, what is the actual problem? Because initially, it was the northern side brutalizing the south. Now there is independence. There is South Sudan and Sudan, which represent the north. So why the conflict? So this takes us into the reason for this current conflict. After South Sudan gained independence, Sudan, which is the north, faced economic decline, power struggle, and disputes over their oil resources. There were tensions in the north. So General Abdel al-Burhan took over power from al-Bashir and has Mohamed Dagolo as his deputy. The conflict is now between these two men. Now it's like a power struggle because the deputy of the ruling government is now at loggerheads with the incumbent, also accusing him of mismanagement, corruption, and neglect of certain provinces. So for that reason, the deputy wanted to overthrow the incumbent, and this has led to the clash. The deputy, which is Emeti Dagalo, played a pivotal role during the Sudan-South Sudan conflict in Darfur. So its rebel groups are notorious for the happening during the Darfur conflict. So it's like they also feel that the Sudan government owes them more because they played a pivotal role in dividing South from the Sudan. They also feel entitled. So the deputy position is not enough for him. He wants to take over And also, he alluded that there are neglect on certain provinces due to the misunderstanding between the government forces, which is the SAF, and the RSF, controlled by Dagalo. It has led to the Sudan capital and other major cities turned into war zones. It has also been alleged that Egypt backed the National Army. UAE and Russia Wagner Group also backed the RSF to access gold and influences. So there's allegations of foreign interference in this conflict to make sure that they will still have access to the resources while the conflict still burns. So no matter where the conflict is, and the north, most of the northern elites has been known to cause atrocities to the south, who eventually gained independence in 2011. So it serves them right. No matter how we see it, we are still one Africa on one African continent. If a neighbor starts fire and you don't help them to quench the fire, it will eventually spread to your own household. For that reason, we have to be in solidarity and pray for the peace of Sudan. There are a lot of innocent people who has been caught up in the conflict. Even the Southerners who didn't return to the south because of family and work reasons has also been caught up in this conflict, and a lot of people has lost their life. So when you go down on your knees to say a prayer, say some for the people of Sudan. Don't say it is not in my country, I don't care. We are one Africa, one continent, and one love. One thing you should know is no matter what is going on out there, when you come here, we put you in perspective so as to understand what is going on. If you have not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel as we grow and bring you the best of the best. See you on the next one. We out.